Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a really high-stakes strategic pitch, and it's based on this incredibly fascinating proposal from AI and UX designer Aleem. We're going to look at what is essentially a masterclass on merging human-centered design with machine intelligence. The goal? Building faster, clearer, and frankly, much more scalable product experiences. Look, if you're anywhere near modern software development, you already know AI is completely changing how we build. But it's also breaking a lot of things along the way, isn't it? Well, this pitch offers a very concrete solution to all that chaos. Okay, let's just get right into this bold paradigm shift. There's been so much panic out there lately, right? This idea that AI coding agents are just going to outright replace designers and front-end devs. But the reality, the digital canvas is literally becoming executable. The designer's role isn't disappearing at all, it's just rapidly evolving. As the quote says, designers aren't cooked, they are cooking. They're cooking up a completely new way to interface with artificial intelligence. So here's our agenda for today's executive summary. First, the AI design debt problem. Second, the LLM-ready design system. Third, the three-layer architecture. Fourth, the AI native dev workflow. And finally, number 5, the 30, 60, 90-day pilot. By the end of this, you're going to see exactly why establishing a shared UI language is absolutely the only way to securely scale software in the age of AI. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the AI design debt problem. Let's really look at the pain points of our current vibe coding workflow. And this right here really illustrates the core issue we're facing. We've got these AI models that can generate interfaces at absolute lightning speed, right? You type a prompt, and boom, there's your checkout page. But here's the massive catch. Without a shared design language, that AI is essentially just guessing. It's generating code completely from scratch every single time, which immediately injects this massive wave of technical and aesthetic debt right into your codebase. Because, without a system, AI's sheer speed actually just amplifies the inconsistency. It leads to 4 major structural flaws. First up, brand drift. Since the AI builds from scratch, you could ask for a submit button 3 different times and literally get 3 completely different visual treatments. Second, accessibility gaps. Crucial stuff like contrast ratios, keyboard states, area labels, they just get totally missed by default. Third is rework loops. Your designers and devs end up wasting so much time just trying to fix this newly generated UI. And finally, harder scale. With no shared vocabulary, your technical debt just multiplies like wildfire with every single prompt. So I want you to really stop and ask yourself this. How many hours does your team actually spend fixing almost right AI-generated UI? Take a second to mentally calculate that hidden cost in your own day-to-day operations. It's probably staggering, isn't it? Because look, all that speed, it's completely useless if you have to spend days just cleaning up the mess. Which brings us to Section 2, the LLM-ready design system. This is where we pivot the strategy and move from chaos to total control. So the solution here isn't just handing over a standard Figma file anymore. It's about creating a strict design contract. By connecting your tokens, your components, usage rules, and tests directly into the LLM's context, you're actually making the absolute best UI the easiest UI for an agent to generate. It acts as an ironclad agreement between your human team and your coding agents. Now, what exactly makes a component LLM-friendly? Well, it's not just a pretty picture. It is a rigid specification. It outlines the exact props and states, variants, sizes, hover, focus, loading states. It strictly mandates the accessibility requirements like visible focus and semantic labels. But most importantly, it includes the agent context. We're talking prompt recipes and a component manifest. This guarantees that your agent actually imports pre-approved, flawless code instead of just hallucinating brand new, broken markup on the fly. Moving on to Section 3, the 3-layer architecture. Let's break down how we actually build this thing technically. So this is the 3-layer architecture that bridges the gap between a designer's vision and what the coding agent actually spits out. Layer 1, that's the design layer in Figma. This is your designer-owned source of truth for all tokens and flows. Layer 2 is the code layer, packaged right into NPM as developer consumable, fully accessible React or Vue components. And then the real magic happens in Layer 3, the agent layer. This is the LLM context packed with prompts and manifests, giving the AI the exact instructions on how to use those NPM components. Now, in this new architecture, the UI and UX designer, they aren't just drawing screens anymore. They evolve into what we call a system steward. They're auditing repeated UI, defining the components, rigorously documenting usage rules, governing the versioning, and validating the UX quality. Essentially, they are driving design ops for a fully AI native team. All right, Section 4, the AI native dev workflow. Let's see how all this theory translates into real-world application development. By mapping the system to a modern 5-day AI dev loop, we can make sure these design proposals seamlessly integrate with actual coding curriculums. Check this out. Day 1 is all about defining the product intent and UX flows. On day 2, you start prompting the agents, but with strict instructions to use your approved components. Day 3, the agent outputs the code by literally just importing from your NPM package. Day 4 brings in automated QA gates. And day 5, you deploy. It's clean, it's predictable, and it's an incredibly efficient assembly line. I do want to pause on day 4 for a second because this is absolutely vital for what we're calling secure vibe coding. When agents write code, you have to deploy automated quality gates to catch UI drift and security risks. I'm talking about linting tokens with Style Dictionary, running accessibility checks with Axe or Playwright, catching visual regression with Chromatic, and doing a full security pass. Finally, the designer gives the ultimate sign-off. That right there is how you make the whole process safe. Now for our final part, Section 5. The 30, 60, 90-day pilot. Because to close this strategic pitch, we really need a concrete, actionable roadmap. This 30, 60, 90-day implementation plan is brilliantly designed to let you start small, actually prove the speed and quality, and then scale across your teams. So first 30 days, foundation. You audit your UI and define just 8 to 10 core components. Keep it tight. By day 60, build. You're building the Figma library, coding those components, and writing the LLM manifest. And by day 90, integrate and govern. You integrate your agent prompts and test the whole shebang on a single pilot app. Look, approving this pilot yields some absolutely undeniable benefits. First, consistent UI. Every generated screen speaks one shared visual language. Second, faster development. Your agents import rather than reinventing the wheel. And third, safer releases. Thanks to those embedded accessibility and security checks, this approach permanently fixes the tech debt caused by letting AI run wild. So here is our final call to action and really the main takeaway from this whole explainer. You absolutely must make the design system a fundamental part of your AI development stack. Because if you don't, that AI speed you think is your biggest advantage is actually just supercharging your technical debt. So, are you ready to approve the pilot and completely transform how your AI agents build software? Or are you willing to wait and see what your codebase looks like in a year after 1,000 rogue prompts have reinvented your UI from scratch every single day? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.